All right, y'all. Running a little bit behind today with my base Sunday school. We're actually gonna go back today. I know we did John 16 last week. I'm gonna go to 15 this time around. I wanted to start off with an Al Pacino speech, and something I think I'm gonna look into doing myself in terms of coaching. But I wanted to start off with this Al Pacino speech, man, and really dive into John 15 and what I think about it. So I don't know if any of you have ever seen Any Given Sunday. Pretty good speech. Yeah, a lot of cursing. And if you're looking for a no cursing channel in terms of referencing God, you probably come to the wrong place. But this is his speech from Any Given Sunday. Um, and today I want to talk about focus, short-term goals, and how it applies to John 15. So I'm going to start off with this speech.
I don't know what to say, really.
Oh, fair use, by the way, fair use.
3 minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. Either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around, I see these young faces, and I think, I made every wrong choice a middle-aged man can make. I pissed away all my money, believe it or not. I chased off anyone who's ever loved me. And lately, I can't even stand the face I see in the mirror. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's gonna win that inch. And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it. You gotta look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that inch with you. Hell yeah. You're gonna see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're gonna do the same for him. Right? That's a team, gentlemen. Hell yeah. And either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals. That's football, guys.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it right there. I really definitely like the guy's whole opinion on in terms of inches, right? Like the what he said, the 6 inches in front of your face. And I'm actually gonna go. And the funny thing is, I thought about this during Fight Club today when I was on Fight Club, and definitely showed out on Fight Club. Shouts out to everybody who was on Fight Club today. It was a wild one, my friend. The fantastic guy who was a new one, uh, actually pretty good addition. There was a guy named A Will who was decent. But I'm going to go to this right now. I want you to really remember what he said about the 6 inches and the things in front of your face, right? 6 inches and the things in front of your face. And so I'm going to go to, yo, what's going on, Ty? I'm going to go to this right here, right? And honestly, and even Ty and Ramil, some of their stuff is on here, right? I'm gonna start on 15, right? I am the true vine. This is John 15. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I've spoken to you. Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory that you bear much fruit, showing yourself to be my disciples. So I'm going to stop it right there. We talk a lot on these YouTube spaces, right? About simps, about where men have gone, about how did things get so bad. And I honestly, I sit back and I think about this, right? And I think about the Al Pacino speech. And one of the best things that's in there is he said life is the 6 inches in front of your face, right? He said that in that speech. The 6 inches in front of your face. I think about people watching pornography, right? I think about Instagram. I think about all of these things that are just randomly on your algorithm. What is 6 inches from your fucking face right now? What are you constantly putting in front of your face? What is your eyes constantly looking at? Because whatever you're fucking constantly looking at is where your intentions are truly gonna go. And I understand people. How does a simp become a simp? How does a guy become somebody who panders to hoes? How do we even get here? You think about the rise of technology. You think about what you see on your algorithms. You think about what's allowed, what's not allowed. You think about what is being pushed in front of your face. And you think about this verse about being the vine and the branches. If you remain in me and I remain in you, you will bear much fruit. And apart from me, you can do nothing. So for me, it comes down to a point to what are you remaining in? What are you constantly looking at? What are you constantly focused on? Because as you know, I mean, I see Ty down there, right? Goals, plans, ambitions, things like that, which I'm not a fan of bit long-term plans. I think long-term plans are just a derivative of short-term execution and consistency. And so what you realize is that most people are programmable in some form or fashion, right? It's not by any accident that we have members of certain communities going into schools for children. This is not by accident at all. It's not by accident that people are lobbying for a studio responsibility index for the Human Rights Campaign to put certain characters in TV shows, because we know that's what people look at. And we know that what people look at or what they surround themselves around is what's going to influence them. And so you might see a guy to me, right? You might see somebody, whether you judge them or not, or whoever, you might see somebody that makes the wrong move, or in your opinion is living the wrong life in some form or fashion, and you'll see a big thing, but that big issue that you have with that person is broken down by smaller day-to-day habits. I can guarantee you this: people will see simps, or people who pander, or all of this kind of stuff, the stuff that people may have an issue with, right? And I can guarantee you this: their habits are all the same. The day-to-day, their day-to-day life is all the same. There is something coming into their eye gates, there's something that they're listening to that's influencing their brain. And so when you realize that, you may realize that for the outside world, but do you even realize that with yourself, in terms of what information are you consuming on a day-to-day basis, or what activities are you participating in that may just be just a weeding people just a little bit off of what it is they really want to accomplish? So for me, when I saw this verse, one of my favorite verses, by the way, in John, well, all of John is pretty solid, but we think about the branches, right? I'm the vine, the branches, right? Bear much fruit. So, in this parable or whatnot, it's an ecosystem of fruit, vines, branches, all of these things, right? The vine comes from the ground, you come from the vine, and when you stay in the vine, you will bear the fruit. So when looking at some people, right, and my goal here is, I'm pretty much an idiot in these spaces. I can say so myself. I'm pretty much a clown of all type of sorts. But you know, at times it is good to be inquisitive, to understand how did the problems that we live in now become problems, especially when you knew historically that they were not always problems, or they were not always issues. So for me, um, eye gates, ear gates, activities, focus, things like that. These are all things that I think people should really analyze other people, but then also analyze themselves. What are they participating in? Man, it's a dude, bro. It's a dude who came up on Fight Club today. I forgot the guy's name. And we were talking about, and I'm going to take Ty's point and Ramil's point, hoes winning, right? And the guy came up and he said, the reason why they're winning is because exactly what we're doing on here right now. It's because of this is why they're winning, right? And of course, there was an argument which I was fully participating in. I'm definitely not so clean myself. Um, and he said the reason why hoes are winning is because exactly what we're doing here right now. This is exactly an example of why it is that they're winning. And you really have to take stock of what it is that you're participating in, or what it is that you're looking at, um, you know, before you not only try to say that you may have any type of goals for yourself, but also to understand maybe why some people are the way that they are, right? And I will say, coming up in, I'm not in a specific space. I've been on a lot of different channels. Um, you know, I'd have to say that, um, like I said, focusing on the big things is not necessarily it, right? It's the smaller things, right? So, which is why I'm not a fan of pornography, which is why I'm not a fan of these things. I think they're much more damaging than drugs are. I think they're much more. I think they're programming people, right? Um, I will venture to say that the type of simps that we have right now have not, or the people, or some of the people that they call simps, they haven't been this way in history because people were never. It's like a, it's like a simp brainwashing machine on repeat like 24 hours a day. This bullshit right here is a fucking brainwashing machine. This shit right here, fucking like this right here is this is it. And this is always 6 inches from your fucking face at all times of the day. All times of the day. This shit. So ask yourself, in the men that are doing these things, right? Like, yeah, there may have been dudes that have had fetishes in the past, but like that shit is absolutely insane. I don't think there was this strong epidemic of men in the 80s or the 90s who were paying pictures for pictures of women's feet. But we weren't necessarily poisoning the water hole with this bullshit, with this shit right here. So I don't know. Hold on a second. My service is going in and out. It does act up from time to time. But yeah, man, I really feel like can y'all hear me right now? Because I'm seeing the one dot on mine, but I'm seeing the service on my thing. I don't know. I don't know if you can hear me right now. Always does this. This is nothing but the same. Can you hear me? Now it reset. Look at this. Look at this right here. This is purely of Satan, my friend. We're out here spreading the word. Can y'all hear me in the chat? Can I get a 1 or 2 in the chat if you can hear me? Okay, you can't hear. All right, yeah. I know I got a whopping 40 people in, or 11 people watching. But another thing I want to focus on, because I got to get going because my Chiefs are about to play. Um, Small goals, right? Uh, Taking stock of what you're putting in your you are, you are what you see and what you hear. And that's hard for me because I don't have any understanding in these spaces when it comes to people who are stupid or uneducated. But you are what you're constantly taking in, what you're constantly listening to, what you're constantly taking in, what you're constantly viewing. I can guarantee you most of the men, like I said, that are simps or what you say, I bet you most of them have a problem with face fucking their phone all day long. So hopefully the stream doesn't get taken down, all the F words. Let me see. I'm gonna do one last thing from Bruce Lee. One last quote. Hold on a second about flexibility. Hold on a second. One last quote. Okay. Here we go. Right. This is. I guess I'm stealing more talking points from the SBE guys. They're gonna copyright strike me here. Let me see really quick. Let's see. All right. So Bruce Lee, this is why I'm not a guy on big term goals, right? This is why I'm not a guy on big term goals, long term goals, um, you know, big things, right? And Bruce Lee said, notice that the stiffest tree is the most easily cracked, while the bamboo or willow survives by bending with the wind, right? So flexibility is everything. Small things to me are everything at times. Tons of people have had long-term plans, but these long-term things that they look forward to are usually collapsed by different things that they have no control over. Whereas if they adapted, I guess, at certain times, they could get a lot further. So, with that being said, bro, I'm gonna wrap this up. I wasn't gonna be on here long today. This is probably 18 minutes long. So with this, like I said, get in that John. I'm actually this week, I'm gonna break down all the midterm debates. I think I saw the guy from Big Mike Drop. I don't want to do that one. He did a decent breakdown of Herschel Walker's debate. I'm not going to do that, but his breakdown was not bad with Warnock but I'm going to do some debates. Hopefully going forward, I want to offer some coaching. I don't know. I don't know. Just try to offer something different. But to summarize everything I've said before, everything that we see now is death by a thousand cuts. Everything that we see with men and how they're adapting and simps and OnlyFans and all that kind of stuff, it's all been programmed by small technological advances, right? And these things are beat, in my opinion, when men learn themselves, when they focus on themselves, right? Because I don't think that you can look at yourself and look at hoes at the exact same time. I don't. I think that it takes you looking in the mirror and analyzing yourself. And I know that that's just a broad term. What is it? What do you mean analyze myself? Everybody says that, focus on yourself, right? Um, Number one, assessments. I think most people don't even know what it is that they're good at. I think most people don't even pay attention to their habits. And I think most people don't realize how weak they are. When they realize that and stop overestimating themselves, and then at the same time notice where the world is, it may cause them to look at things a little bit differently. So that's my opinion. I could be wrong on it. I'm not the be all end all for that. Um, but I will definitely say assessments. Assess yourself, right? Um, Also, spaces, right? Environments, spaces, the places that you're going, the people that you're around, right? Um, you can't be at the nightclub and in the laboratory at the exact same time. In my opinion, and this is going back to simps, people need to adapt a more pioneer spirit. Men need to adapt a more pioneer spirit. There's so many things to learn in the world today. Um, 3D printing is one of the things I was looking at, which has always been interesting to me. The YouTube spaces are always interesting to me. Sharpening your craft, reading, writing. Um, there's too many things in life to be distracted with quote unquote bitches, right? Um, there's too many different things out there for you to be held down with wondering what women want, right? And the only reason to me today that men are concerned with filling their minds with what women want is because once again they're eating this out. They're putting their face in this, all day long. They're putting their face in this, right? And they're not really exploring. They're not really, you know, going out there. They're not really, I hate to be God, I'm sounding really stupid today. Really like esoteric with my words, bro. Somebody's probably gonna clown me from the stream later on. But they've lost their pioneer spirit. They've lost their discovery. They've lost their ability to go out and explore. And that's what men should be. They should be exploring. They should be pioneering. They should be inventing things. They should be analyzing themselves. They should be, you know, learning about math and going to Mars and going to the bottom of the ocean. But you can't go to the bottom of the ocean when you're on the bottom of the algorithm of the OnlyFans. You have to choose one. And that's what I'm saying. The OnlyFans, the algorithms, the women on TikTok, these things are being pushed to us so hard that it's literally distracting. There's more of a fight to stay focused today than there's ever been, which is why attention spans are the lowest that they've ever been. And I'm a product of that. I don't have a long attention span myself, and you can tell that on some of these videos. Um, but just these are ideas. These are just words and things like that. I mean, this is open ideas. Hold on a second. Let me. I'm gonna put my email in the chat or whatever. Let me put the banner down below. I've gotten on TikTok. I've gotten 2 videos taken down already. I do need to get up with Ty. I don't know, Ty, if you're still watching. I got to get up with y'all. If y'all could email me, I don't have any way to get in contact with either one of you. I would like to go on your show a time or two. Sometimes it just takes me up during the day um, when I'm like held down with things. But the stuff that I'm talking about today is really what I want to maybe put into a word, maybe an ebook or something like that, and maybe give out, because we always say these things. Well, oh, well, men need to focus on themselves, and they need to but they've never learned how to focus on themselves. They never learned what that means, and they don't know what that means because number one, most of them don't even know what they're good at. They don't know what they're good at. They've never been assessed. They don't assess themselves because they've never been taught these things, right? They don't know about these other environments because they've been bombarded so much with OnlyFans, nightclubs, hookah bars, chasing women, all this kind of stupid stuff. And they're missing, they're missing the forest for the trees here. And that's what this is. And literally that goes back to the vine and the branches points from John 15. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this, bro. You have a good day. Hopefully my Chiefs can get a W. And I'm going to see y'all next week on Base Sunday School. I know my streams suck. I have no music at all. I have no great production, but at least I have my 18.5 subscribers. So I will talk to y'all later. Hopefully some of you gave me some likes today. And I'll holler at you later, man.